Merry Sixmas and happy Super Saturday. How excited are you for the rugby? I thought I would help pass the time before the games actually arrive, just a matter of hours as I record this, by reliving the greatest Super Saturday of them all. One of the greatest days of rugby ever of them all. 2015 Super Saturday in the Six Nations when England, Ireland and Wales could all win the championship. I mean, technically France could as well. They would need to batter England and hope that Ireland and Wales would lose. It's a bit like Scotland this year. Theoretically, they could win, but not really. So this year, it's France, England and Ireland. In 2015, it was Wales, England and Ireland. And all of them were locked on 3 wins apiece. And as fortune would have it, just like this year, none of those teams were playing each other. So every single game, one after the other, had something riding on it. This is rare and special. So we need to drink this in. Back in 2015, Wales were 21 points behind Ireland on points difference going into the final game. And Ireland were a further 4 points difference behind England. Wales were in Italy, though. Ireland went to Murrayfield to play Scotland, and England hosted France in that order. It was drama all of the way. And Wales went to Rome. Ireland would have been watching in their team hotel, and they would have been able to have watched the first half from their team hotel before they had to get on the bus and go to the stadium. They would have been feeling fairly confident when they got on the bus. They would have been seeing an Italy team that was really hanging in there and was only 1 point behind at half-time. 1 try for each side, 15 points to 14 at half-time, but the second half for Wales, they let rip. They'd actually lost to England on the opening night of the tournament, but had grown through the competition, and they saved their best 40 minutes for the final 40 minutes. 7 tries, Liam Williams, a 10-minute hat-trick for George North, who was in inspired form. And importantly, 6 of those tries in the second half were converted by Dan Biggar. So Ireland was suddenly, they would have got on the bus feeling confident, got to the stadium and seen the score and thought, right, we've got to pull our finger out here. A massive moment in the Wales-Italy game, actually, that shouldn't be overlooked, is what happened in the final moment when Italy scored what was a total consolation try, but in the context of the tournament, could have been very, very significant. And you could tell from the Wales body language, they realised that that could be a big moment when Leonardo Sato scored at the death. So instead of a 27-point challenge that they'd laid down to Ireland, which psychologically would have been a bit of a blow for the Irish. They would have taken it in their stride, I'm sure, but that would go into Scotland needing 27 points difference. That's a big challenge. As it was just, well, not just the 20, it was 20 points, and Ireland knew they had a game on their hand. They started the game in Murrayfield like a freight train, and it looked like they were going to make light work of the challenge. And in what was to be Paul O'Connell's final Six Nations game, he was retiring from international rugby after the Rugby World Cup later that year, and he scored a very rare try. I think he got 8 tries for Ireland in his international career, and he saved one of them for his final outing. And now it was the England team that would be watching on their hotel TVs, and they saw O'Connell, they saw Sean O'Brien cross as well, and 25 minutes in, Ireland were 17-0 up. And I think at this point, Wales probably started to realise their hopes were fading fast. It was 20 points to 10 at half-time, though. A Finn Russell try for Scotland brought them back within 10, but Ireland pressed on in the second half and scored 20 unanswered second-half points, making it a plus 30 points difference. It must have been so confusing. Do you celebrate? Such mixed emotions, and Rory Best has spoken about this, how he said it was an amazing day of rugby for fans and for neutrals, but for that Irish team, he described it as torture.
You've got one hand on this championship. What are you going to do for the next couple of hours?
Yeah, we're going to be waiting very anxiously, and our eyes will be glued to the England game.
Just like Leonardo Sato had scored that try late on for Italy, which was a big blow for Wales, there was also some missed kicks for Ireland at the end of the match. Johnny Sexton and Ian Madigan both missed kicks, which could have made it a much more comfortable few hours afterwards for Ireland. So it was then to Twickenham.
England must win by 26 points if they are to be the Six Nations champions.
which was one of the most bonkers games you can ever watch. And I remember watching this. I don't know. I'd love to tell me your memories and thoughts. Yeah, I think a lot of people came away from this game thinking, well, they've just played attacking, running rugby. Why can't it be like this all the time? I don't know what it would be like. If rugby was like this all the time, would it lose its impact? Was it only really, really special and amazing because it was such a rarity? 10 years on, still haven't quite made up my mind on that one, but it was insane. A 12-try thriller, completely mad, went back and forth. It was wild. And for England, it started brilliantly with Ben Youngs going over on minute 1. But then when France pounced on a couple of errors with Tius Board and then Noah Nakatasi scoring, it looked like England's chances might be done. England were 15-7 down. They had to win by 26 points. Anthony Watson and Ben Youngs, though, scored before half-time. But immediately after half-time, Maxime Mermoz went over. And again, the ebb and flow in this game was nuts. You started to believe as an England fan, and then your hopes were extinguished. But 3 clear scores. Could England get that? George Ford hit back immediately. Jack Noel scored on 52 minutes.
Ford, Jack Noel, oh, great finish, great feat by the Exeter winger.
And at this point, spare a thought for Ireland's players. 20 minutes to go at Twickenham, and they're watching, and England need 10 more points more than their French opponents. So the Irish fans then would have been starting to think the championship's ours when Dabati scored a try on 59 minutes. But Billy Vunipola made the target 8 with time running out. Benjamin Kayser then scored for France, and it ebbed back their way. But Jack Noel set up a grandstand finish. 5 minutes to go, and England needed 1 more try. Twickenham, the noise was deafening. Nerves were absolutely shredded. France had a penalty with the clock in the red in their own 22 and tapped and went for it. And again, spare a thought for those Ireland fans who were just saying, kick it out, kick it out. But France were playing for themselves, not for Ireland, went for it until they got defended and repelled back to their own try line. And it was only then that Rory Cockott, as the England fans were rabidly, desperately cheering for a turnover or something, it was then that Rory Cockott brought the game to an end and the Six Nations 2015 to the most dramatic of conclusions. If you were a script writer for Hollywood, the only thing you would have changed is that it would have been England scoring that try at the end to win the tournament. But it was the England players that were disappointed. And I imagine, I mean, if I was an Irish player, I would have been stress eating. I probably would have been, I mean, after a championship as well, where you've put in all that work for five matches, you probably earned a couple of beers. And there's several hours between when Ireland finished their game and when they actually went back to Murrayfield. And fair play to the guys at Murrayfield who opened up the stadium to the fans again. And even though it was dark, got the pyrotechnics on and got the Irish players in their suits for the trophy lift. I bet most of them were half cut already by this point. But there you go. It was a memorable moment from one of the most insane days of rugby. I don't suspect we will see quite the same drama today as we did in 2015, but you can hope. Love Super Saturday. I'm already mourning the fact that Six Nations is going to be gone tomorrow, so let's make the most of it today, and I'll be here on the channel with you. Make sure you hit subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, let me know your thoughts down below.